"What's this?" I demanded of Quinn. "They tie our legs together," she told me. "Your right leg to my right leg. The rope's just long enough to let me get behind you. You're my lack. I'm the target. If he cuts me, we've lost. That's how I got the cut on my shoulder." "You didn't say anything about this," I accused Quinn, staring down at the rope. "You didn't tell me I'd have to fight like this." I was angry. What else had Quinn failed to tell me? By now, the tassel was attaching the other end of the rope to her ankle. "It's my problem, don't worry. I'll match you step for step." "Will he be defending someone?" I said, nodding towards the tassel. Quinn shook her head. "How do we win?" I asked. "Make it impossible for him to continue." There was a cold flatness to Quinn's voice when she said that. She was clearly trying not to think about what might happen. I think she saw the dismay on my face because she gripped my left arm tightly and put her lips close to my ear. "Give him half a chance, and that's what he'll do to you," she hissed. "If he stops you, he can cut me. It's as simple as that." "Will the blades be poisoned?" "His will. Yours won't. But the poison's slow-acting. Nothing to worry about now. It's just something the tassel used to make sure opponents don't default on a bet. Get cut, and win or lose, as long as you keep to their terms, you'll get the antidote." A blanket was laid on the ground and unrolled. Upon it lay about a dozen blades. No two were alike. I took my time, weighing each one carefully and testing its grip. They were all too heavy. "You'd be better off with John's blades," Quinn said. But when she asked for them, the answer was no. So I made the best of it, choosing the two lightest. The lighter of the two I gripped in my right hand. It would have to do. My anger at Quinn was suddenly replaced by fear. I was scared. This was nothing like stick fighting. I'd be hobbled by the rope. We could fall, go down in a tangle, and then we'd be cut. Once I was armed, the crowd of tassels drew back to mark the edges of the arena, an oval set across the slope. Then our opponent came down to face us. He was very tall and stripped to the waist, his body glistening with grease. It was, indeed, the same tassel who'd been in command earlier. The fight began disastrously. He came in fast, and despite Quinn's promise to match me step for step, our legs became entangled in the rope and we went down hard. We scrambled for our lives, rolling over and over across the cinders while the tassel's blades arced downwards savagely. Somehow we survived and got back to our feet. The tassel's speed unnerved me. All we could do was retreat desperately while he scuttled across the cinders like an insect. But it was his greased and glistening upper body that posed the greater threat. It bent from the waist as if his bones were soft and pliable. Either that, or he was double-jointed, allowing his long arms to strike from unusual angles. We were gradually being driven back down the hill. I was already puffing hard, the air rasping in my throat, sweat pouring down my face, my palms damp, which made it hard to grip my blades properly. I made a couple of lunges towards the tassel, but they were slow and cumbersome, and he never hesitated in his remorseless advance. Only his body moved back fractionally, just to take him out of range of my blade tips. I could hear the tassels jeering and hooting behind us. I knew what would happen if we were forced back amongst them. The same things that happened in my posin. Someone would grip your sleeve in the dark, feet would try to trip you, or you might even be seized and hurled forward towards the waiting stick of your opponent. And here, it was blades. By now, I was terrified. My heart was hammering in my chest. Something inside me was already defeated. I was scared for Quinn and John, knowing that their lives would be forfeit. But I was afraid for myself as well. I remembered what Quinn had said. Make it impossible for him to continue. That was what the tassel was trying to do to me. Blades could kill. Blades could also disable. Even if I survived, my life might never be the same again. It was then that it happened. For some reason I halted, stopping our retreat. I took a deep breath and waited there. My blades extended before me, and the tassel halted too. His eyes were staring hard into mine, but he wasn't moving. A silence seemed to have fallen over everything. And then I heard Quinn's feet crunching on the cinders behind me. 2 firm crunches with her left foot, followed by a short, quick, lighter tap with her right. She was indicating the basic maneuver, using the sound code we had developed together. 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right, followed by a diagonal right reversal. She was so close, I could feel the heat of her breath on the back of my neck. Like a lack, I obeyed, and we danced slowly across the cinders left, then right, executing the patterns of the trig, signalled by the ulum we had practised together. It seemed so long ago now. The tassel didn't like it. I could see the doubt in his eyes. When we began the retreat, he did not follow. It didn't matter. We attacked anyway, moving forward along the same diagonal, attacking with speed and coordination. And for the first time, we moved like one creature, our steps in unison. The tassel gave ground and we went after him. And we were very, very fast. We flowed rather than moved, gliding forwards, our feet hardly seeming to touch the cinders. Now my hands obeyed my brain, striking effortlessly, with quick arcs that had the tassel bending back from the waist. My third strike almost cut him, and only the speed of his legs saved him. They were still scuttling over the cinders, but now they carried him backwards as we drove him up the slope. Quinn didn't need to use ulum again, which was fortunate. The time we had spent rehearsing the sound patterns together had been relatively short, and our repertoire was limited. Yet it had served its purpose, shocking me out of my fear, giving me time to think and catch my breath. Now, my confidence growing, I moved on to the next stage, where I was fighting by instinct, and no thought was required. Each movement I made was spontaneous. I was a stick fighter again, trusting my body. The speed and skill devolved to my arms and legs, while my mind was detached from what was happening. A cool observer, calculating strategy, noting the weaknesses of my opponent. And I wasn't alone. Quinn matched me step for step. Even when she moved, she was so close I could still feel her hot breath on my neck. It was almost as if I could hear her heart beating, thudding to the same fast rhythm as my own, as if we shared one system of circulation, her arteries and veins joined to mine. It was exhilarating, and I actually began to enjoy it. But the end was approaching rapidly. The first chance I had was a slim one, but Quinn probably didn't even spot it. She didn't notice because she didn't know what I was capable of. When we'd fought, she tested me hard, but I knew that I could raise my performance to another level which I'd reached perhaps only once or twice in combat. And now, under the pressure of fighting the tassel, facing all the dark consequences of defeat, I'd reached that place again. The second opportunity was obvious, and when I let it go, Quinn reacted immediately. Finish him now, she hissed into my ear. But I couldn't do it. This was nothing like fighting with sticks. To finish it, I had to cut him with my blades. I had to cut him so badly that he couldn't continue. Somehow the tassel must have sensed what was going on inside my head, or maybe he realised that I'd missed my chance. Whatever it was, he was suddenly fighting with renewed energy and ferocity. Once more we began to give ground, forced backwards down the slope. In the end, I did finish it. I won because the result of losing was too terrible to face. The tassel had committed himself, taken that extra step, his body bending forward from the waist, his blade scything towards my throat. He was fast, but I was faster, and I stepped inside his guard, thrusting my right blade, feeling the rope at my ankle grow taut as Quinn hesitated fractionally. She reacted just in time to avoid bringing us down onto the cinders, in time to allow me to follow through. But I didn't cut the tassel. I turned the heavy handle of the blade towards him and drove it hard into his mouth, breaking his teeth. I used the blade in my left hand in a similar fashion, like a club, striking his right temple. He was unconscious before he hit the ground. I thought I'd won, but I was wrong. The tassels waited expectantly. The oval became a circle as they began to close in. You still haven't finished it, Quinn said. When he's back on his feet, he'll carry on. I knew then what was expected of me. The tassel was on his back, his throat open to my blade. That was one way to finish it. Another option was to cut his hamstrings so that he couldn't walk. I couldn't do either. I couldn't cut him like that in cold blood. But I did make a cut. As if in a nightmare, I made it without thinking. I cut the rope that bound me to Quinn. Immediately, she buried her face in her hands and gave a cry of despair. Only then did I realise the enormity of what I'd done. By cutting the rope that bound us before slaying or maiming my opponent, I'd ended the contest. but I'd also forfeited it. I'd lost.